Hello, good evening, and welcome to Eddie V Live. It's good to be here with you tonight. We have a great show tonight. We are going to be talking about a specific man and a specific lady, and that man's name is Marie-Alphonse Ratisbonne, and that lady's name is Mary, the Mother of God. We're going to be talking about these two. Got no announcements or anything, so I'm going to hop right into it. This is something I've been wanting to put into video form for a bit. So here we go. So Marie-Alphonse Ratisbonne, his name originally was not Marie. He was a French Jew from a very wealthy Jewish banking family. And I'm going to go through kind of his whole biography, and then I'm going to kind of hit a specific part of his life. So hang with me for a second. So this French Jew would eventually be converted to become a Jesuit priest, and he would be the co-founder of the Congregation of Our Lady of Zion, which is a religious congregation whose sole focus was the conversion of the Jews. Very interesting. It was approved congregation. I'll talk about that later a little bit. His older brother Theodore, when he was still in the Jewish faith, he was kind of not really a practicing Jew, but his older brother Theodore also converted to Christianity, also became a priest. So that'll be important. He studied law in Paris before he was a priest and before his conversion. And things start to get a little interesting at 28. At 28, he gets engaged to his 16-year-old niece. So I don't know how you guys do things. I don't know where you're from, how you do things, but got 28-year-old Ratisbonne. He's engaged to his 16-year-old niece. And at that time, shortly after that, that's going to be in early January of 1842. And on January 20th, 1842, he's going to have a massive conversion event that leads him not only to just religious practice in general, but to the Catholic faith. So yeah, pretty wild. His fiance, his 16-year-old niece, he's going to try to bring with him into the Catholic faith. Immediately, she's going to reject his pleas. So he's going, obviously, so he doesn't get married. And he's going to enter the Society of Jesus that same year, 1842. So January, he's going to convert. And in that same year, he's going to enter the Society of Jesus, otherwise known as the Jesuits. He's going to be ordained 6 years later in 1848. In 1850, he's going to leave the society, not for anything bad or anything, but he wants to join his brother in the mission of converting the Jews. So he's going to leave the Society of Jesus with the approval of the Pope and of the Superior General at the time, so he can help out his brother. He's still going to be a priest. He's still going to be in good standing with the church and everything. It was a move supported by everyone. And this is a quote from him. "I recognize that the will of God in my conversion and in my vocation to the priesthood obviously destined me to work for the salvation of Israel." That's what he said. So this man was just insanely passionate about the conversion of the Jews. In 1852, he's going to start the Congregation of Our Lady of Zion. He is going to move to Palestine. He's actually going to be involved in the conversion of two Jewish women who are going to lead his female part of this congregation. And he's also going to be responsible for the building of the convent of Ecce Homo in Jerusalem. And he's going to be responsible for the Ratisbonne Monastery. And so obviously he's going to move to Palestine. He's going to be in that area for the conversion of the Jews. And then he'll eventually die in 1884, and the whole time that's what he's doing. He's in Palestine working for the conversion of the Jews with his brother priest, his actual blood brother who is also a priest, and also their female cohorts in the congregation as well. So now I want to talk about, so that's just his general outline of his life. I want to talk about his conversion now. So this event is wild. It's crazy. It's not really talked about. So I do want to mention, there's some YouTube videos I saw that they said they were about it. I didn't watch any of them. Hopefully they're great. But yeah, feel free to watch any of them. They didn't have a lot of views, so We're trying to get the message out here. So his conversion. So when he gets engaged, if we're going to start his engagement, he gets engaged to his 16-year-old niece, and for whatever reason, they're not going to get married right away. And so he decides to take a little vacation. He's also going to take up business with his uncle in banking. So he's just going to take a little vacay. His plans are elsewhere. He's going to go to Naples. He's going to go to other places in Italy. But by a mistake, he's going to end up in Rome. He's going to take a wrong road. He's going to be like, screw it, I'm going to go back. And he ends up in Rome for a little bit of time. On the street in Rome, he's going to run into an old classmate of his, an old Protestant classmate he knew when he was younger. And this guy's not that important, except they ran into each other in the street, which is, a lot of things are just leading up to this man's conversion. He's going to end up in Rome by mistake. He's going to run into this guy. And then this classmate, this Protestant classmate, has an older brother living in Rome. They're French, living in Rome, in this French community. And this classmate's older brother is going to be the Baron Theodore de Bussière. And he is a Catholic convert. So the younger brother is Protestant, but this older brother, this Baron, he is a Catholic convert. He is Catholic. And Ratisbonne, Alphonse, he does not like this guy, the Baron. He's very clear he did not like him. And this Baron was, very zealous convert to the faith. But the excuse for them hanging out is this Baron knows about some places that Ratisbonne wants to visit. So they end up hanging out pretty often in Rome. And eventually the Baron's always going to be arguing with him about religion in general, about the faith, the Catholic faith. And eventually gets to a point where the Baron challenges him because Ratisbonne is has so much animosity towards the faith, doesn't think it's real or anything. So the Baron's going to challenge him. He's like, well, if you don't think it's real, I challenge you to wear this miraculous medal and every morning say a memorare. And I think it was 30 days he challenged him to do it. And Ratisbonne eventually agrees, to just show that, the faith is fake. There's no God. There's no Mary, what have you. So he's doing that. He's saying the memorare in the morning. He's wearing this miraculous medal. The Baron's daughter, his little daughter, actually puts the miraculous medal on his neck. And so while this is going on, the Baron's going to recruit some of the French community in Rome to start praying for this young Jew, for his conversion. And one of those people is going to be a count. His name is Count Lafrolnay. And so this count is going to, at one point, he's going to enter into a church, and he's going to, remember how passionate the Baron was about how they needed to pray for the conversion of this Jew, this young Jew. So the count, so you got the Baron and the count. The count hears that from the Baron, and he goes into a church. He prays 20 plus memoraries for the conversion of Ratisbonne. And that same count, the Count Lafrolnay, he's going to suffer a heart attack later that day. And he's going to eventually die. He's going to die in good standing with the church. He's going to receive the sacraments, but he's going to die. So the same day he prays for Ratisbonne, he's going to die of a heart attack. So I know it's a lot of things going on here. So the Baron is going to be the one responsible. It's a friend of his. So he's going to be responsible for the Count's funeral, and he's going to set it up in the Basilica of Sant'Andrea delle Frate, which apparently means St. Andrew of the Thickets. I did not know that, actually. I had to look that up. I was like, I thought it had something to do with angels, honestly, but it doesn't have anything to do with angels. It is St. Andrew of the Thickets, apparently. And he's going to have to go to this basilica that's still in Rome today, and he's going to have to set up the funeral for his friend, the Count. And Ratisbonne is with him, so he's going to ask Ratisbonne to just wait in the church for a little bit. He's got to, do a little setting up. So this is when it gets, it's already interesting, but it's going to get even more interesting. So while the Baron leaves Ratisbonne in the church, this is what's going to happen. And I'm going to read a quote here because I just don't want to mess anything up. I'm going to put my glasses like this. I'm on my phone here. So this is in Ratisbonne's own words of what happened when the Baron left him in Saint-Andrea. He says, quote, I was scarcely in the church when a total confusion came over me. When I looked up, it seemed to me that the entire church had been swallowed up in shadow, except one chapel. So if you live in America, you might not know this, but a lot of these old European churches, they would have multiple side chapels. So there was a lot of places that priests could celebrate mass, and then they would have like usually the main altar in the middle. So he's saying one of these side chapels. Sorry, I'm going to start over just because I got sidetracked. He said, I was scarcely in the church when a total confusion came over me. When I looked up, it seemed to me that the entire church had been swallowed up in shadow, except one chapel. It was as though all the light was concentrated in that single place. I looked over towards the chapel whence so much light shone, and above the altar was a living figure, tall, majestic, beautiful, and full of mercy. It was the most holy Virgin Mary, resembling her figure on the miraculous medal. At this sight, I fell on my knees right where I stood. Unable to look up because of the blinding light, I fixed my glance on her hands, and in them I could read the expression of mercy and pardon. In the presence of the most blessed Virgin, even though she did not speak a word to me, I understood the frightful situation I was in, my sins, and the beauty of the Catholic faith. And I'll read some other quotes from him. Beautiful, just amazing. And so that's happening, and the Baron is going to come back, and he's just going to find Ratisbonne on his knees weeping. And the Baron is trying to get words out of him, but he can't even speak. He's crying. Ratisbonne is crying so much. He's just weeping, sobbing. He's distressed. He starts to mumble different things. He starts to mumble, thanking God for his mercy. And then I'm going to read another quote. And so Ratisbonne he's just literally gripping his miraculous medal and sobbing and weeping and muttering things. And the Baron's just like, I left you just for barely amount of time. What is going on right now? And at last, the Baron's going to eventually get him into the carriage. And Ratisbonne is eventually, after a while, is going to say, take me to a confessor. When can I receive baptism, without which I can no longer live? And the Baron's like, what happened to you? Like, what did you see? And quote, Alphonse says, that I can reveal only on my knees to a priest. So eventually he takes him to a Jesuit church so he can talk to the Jesuits. And eventually the Jesuit is going to be able to get out of him, not in confession because he's not even Catholic. He's going to get out of him so Ratisbonne's going to take off the miraculous medal. He's going to show the Jesuit. He's going to be like, I saw her. That's going to be his confession of what he saw to this Jesuit. And then Ratisbonne is going to end up hiding out at this Jesuit church for fear, because he's a French Jew. He's a Jew. It's not a good look for him to be doing all this. So for fear of ridicule, for persecution, he's literally going to hide in this church for a little bit. So by the grace of God, this is January, late January. So I think it's less than a week later, if I'm getting my dates right, on January 31st, Alphonse Ratisbonne is going to be baptized, confirmed, and receive First Communion on January 31st, 1842. So just a week or so later, he's going to receive all of those. And then eventually in the same year, this miraculous conversion, this vision he has of Mary, is going to be approved, declared by Pope Gregory XVI as a divine miracle on June 3rd, 1842. So the same year, same year in June. And then, as I told you before, he's going to end up trying to convert his fiancée. She's not going to accept it. He's going to enter the Jesuits, the Society of Jesus, in that same year. Eventually, he's going to start a congregation, work with his brother and some sisters for the conversion of the Jews in Palestine and Jerusalem. Just an incredible story, an incredible man. So that's the story of the tale. Like I said, the tale of Marie-Alphonse Ratisbonne. Obviously, he takes the Marie when he becomes a religious. He's not originally named that. So just an amazing story about this man. I first found out about this story. My sister and I, we visited Rome, and we just, we're just walking in churches because they're all beautiful and amazing. We just walk in this church, and they have this whole setup that literally about the story. And I'm reading it, and it's one of the proved Marian apparitions. I'm like, I've never heard of this before. Literally never heard of this. But the church, it was Sant'Andrea della Frate we were in. We got to go to mass at the chapel that he saw Mary at. We got to kiss the floor where he saw her, and receive the Eucharist where he saw her. Is just incredible. But her and I, we were just like, how? Like, I've never heard of this before. So it's just been something that's I'm always coming back to. Just incredible. I recommend if you go to Rome, visit it, donate to it, pray in it, receive the Eucharist there. Just an amazing place. They have it in the little courtyard. It's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. But another thing I want to speak about with this in relation to this is like think about what the conversion entailed. It was just a passionate, zealous Catholic, recent convert who was very persistent with Ratisbonne, got him to wear the miraculous medal, and got him to just say Memorare in the morning. It didn't even go the full 30 days. I can't remember the exact amount of days, but it was way less than 30 days that it happened. I should have looked that up. That's my bad. But that's all it took. And that's all like the little sliver Mary needed to like radically change this man's trajectory. He was probably going to get married to his niece and work as a Jewish banker the rest of his life for the family business. But instead, he ends up not in France, not in Italy. He ends up in the Holy Land as a Catholic priest trying to convert Jews to Catholicism. That's what Mary can do with just a little bit. So I really want to encourage people, let this story inspire you with the power of Mary and also the power of the sacramentals related to Mary. This is only one. This is just the miraculous medal, but we have other ones too. I want to make some videos maybe about the green scapular. I don't know if I'll do the brown scapular because that one's more popular. But these are powerful sacramentals. It doesn't take much. Anything we can do to help someone's disposition to marry just change slightly is powerful. So that's one of the big takeaways from the story, I think, is the power of Mary and the power of the sacramentals and how we can utilize them. And it's funny because you have a lot of websites that are very antagonistic to this story. They'll literally say like, oh, the Baron was proselytizing Alphonse Ratisbonne. And it's like, I think he's just being a good man. He's really cares about this person's soul. He knows the power of prayer. He gets his other French people to pray for this man. Obviously, I think that helped. Some people speculate the intercession of the count who dies before and even after his death were crucial to this whole conversion. But it's just such a beautiful story. It like breaks my heart. So hopefully and one last thing before I end. There is no canonization process at all for Marie-Alphonse Ratisbonne. By all accounts, he lived a very holy life, a very devout life in ministry and his priesthood and just as a man after his conversion. So I don't think they want that I don't have any information on this, but because I think the cause would have to be brought up in Jerusalem or in Palestine. So I don't think that's going to be a very difficult thing for them to do nowadays. But if you feel called to it, pray for his canonization process to start. I think it is really powerful. His story is really powerful, especially for the Jews, his kinsmen, the people of Israel, for their conversions, especially nowadays in this time when the Jews are such a talking point nowadays. I think he can be a powerful witness, like a Saint Teresa of Benedicta of the Cross or someone like that. So that's what I got. That is the tale of Marie-Alphonse Ratisbonne. Hopefully he's a saint one day. Look up the story. It's amazing. and just stick with Mary, stick with those sacramentals. That's all I have for you today. Hope you enjoyed. If you enjoyed it, please share it with someone. Please like, subscribe. That really helps me. Actually, comment is probably the best thing that helps me because I want to hear what you guys think. So please comment. But that's all I got for you today. God bless you. God be with you. And I will see you on the next episode. Good night.